Before I started the pantry challenge, I went to the farm shop and got a big bag of ginger for £5. I thought I had put it in the freezer, but I've just found it in the cupboard in a bag. Still quite firm, but is starting to put some shoots off. So I'm going to plant it so it doesn't get wasted. Growing ginger is something I've been meaning to do for a while, but I tend to just stick it in the freezer so I forget. Then it just goes to mush if it defrosts. Right, so I've got a wide, shallowish pot. Got quite a big piece. Now I'm just going to press it down, but not completely cover it. Because it stays on top, it's not a root this. And then I'm just going to top it with some of these. I don't usually have anything like this, but we have this left over after a family member lost a pet, so it's just a way to use it up. I'm just going to pop it round to help keep that moisture in and to help protect it a bit. I'm just going to give it a water. The top bit's broke on our watering can, so I've just put some holes in with a skewer in a pop bottle. Does the job. Then as it's September, I'm still going to pop it in one of the greenhouses for now. I think it'll probably need to come in over winter and go inside. I'm just going to pop it at the bottom of the greenhouse because they grow in rainforests on the floor, so I'm trying to mimic that the best I can, and it gets quite humid in here. I'll do a full video on progress and updates throughout the year. We'll see how we get. The rest of the ginger I've frozen or sliced to use as ginger powder, so I've just had this in the dehydrator. This took a couple of days on and off. And there is the ginger powder. Today is a processing day, so I've got a lot of tomatoes to do, and some cabbage, and some beetroot. Just going to remove the outer leaves and the chickens can have them. Have that bit too. And I'm just going to put it across. And the pickling recipe I'm going to use is just the same one as my pickled beetroot and onion video. And I was just going to layer this up. With a few sprinklings of salt. I use that salt, the Himalayan pink salt. And I just need to leave that for 24 hours to let the excess moisture come out. For the pickled cabbage, I'm using the same method as I used for the pickled onions and beetroot. I will link it above. I'm using white vinegar so the colour stands out more. The vinegar and honey mix has been on a while now, so I'm going to turn it off. And just let it cool slightly while I pack the jars. I've rinsed off the salt off here, but you don't have to if you like it more salty. This will dye your fingers, so you could wear gloves, but I don't bother. It comes off after a few hand washes. I found that one cabbage does one of these jars. They're the big hot dog jars, so these are ideal. I'm just going to give that a few minutes so it doesn't shatter it when I put it in, because I have heated that up but the cabbage itself isn't warm, so I don't want it exploding. I'm now going to gently pour this vinegar mix in. And debubble it. Well, this is out of a set with the jar lifters and stuff, but you can just use the back of a wooden spoon or something. And just make sure there's no air pockets. There we go, we can get a little bit more vinegar in now. And that's ready to seal. I'm just going to pop that in. And put the label on. And this is shelf stable now, so it'll be best left for a few weeks. Just for all the flavours to infuse. But this is best used within a few months. It's completely safe to use after that, it's just the cabbage may lose some of its crunch. So if you don't mind that, it will store longer. There's a pickled cabbage. It's a much better year for the big tomatoes than the smaller ones this year, but it'll work fine still. I've got some Roma ones, but they're not quite ripe yet. I've cut in half about a quarter of our current tomato harvest. I'm going to add 2 raw homegrown onions. The rest of our last year's garlic. So I pickled this in November last year. And I've got some of our home dried herbs. I've got oregano, and basil. And I've got some fresh basil here. This is just one of the ones that I split from one of the shop bought plants. I'm going to add a drizzle of olive oil. And I'm going to pop that in the oven for about 45 minutes. I've got this with my winnings from the show to save me having to peel them all, so I'm going to see what it's like. Right, that took quite a while, but that is a really nice looking soup. And the rest I'm going to put in the dehydrator to put it in the dehydrator at 65 degrees. I'm going to probably do it overnight and then I'll check on it in the morning. The larger bits from the soup I've had in the dehydrator overnight, so I'm just going to spread it out a bit more now it's took some of the moisture out. It's getting there, it's just the bottom where it was a bit thicker. That needs drying now. I'm going to pop this in for another couple of hours. I'm just going to put that back in the dehydrator. I'm going to put a squeeze of lemon juice in each of the jars just to help with the acidity. And then I'm going to pour the soup in. Seasoning wise, I'm just going to put a little bit of salt, and a little bit of sugar. I'm going to wipe the rims with vinegar to make sure there's no residue. Need a bit more in that one. Just gets filled up to the neck. There we go. Lids on finger tight. And then I'm going to water bath them for 40 minutes. I'm going to water bath the tomato soup. So in here it's just water. It's cold water because the soup has cooled down. but if you're doing a hot pack, you need to have hot water in, and it's got a bit of lemon juice or vinegar can be put in as well. Just a drop, it just stops the jars getting cloudy. These need to be covered with 1 inch above them of water, so I'm just going to top that up now. Now I'm just going to pop that on, and once it gets to a rolling boil, I'm going to start the timer for 40 minutes. That said 40 minutes, so I'm just going to turn it off. I'm just going to give it 5 minutes to settle before I get the jars out. For water bath canning, there's no equipment really required, but I would suggest getting these because it just makes it so much easier to safely get the jars out. I will put a link to them at the bottom. They're less than £10, or you can get the set with the debubbler and the magnetic lid lifters. And there's our soups. Hopefully they all will seal. The soup mixes us another few hours, so I'm going to blitz it up and see if there's any moisture left. Feels pretty dry, but some of the chunkier bits could still have a bit of moisture to them. There's definitely still a bit of moisture in that, but what I'll do is I'll pop it back on the tray now it's blended and finish drying it from there. Just popped it back on the tray. Right now it tastes like a very concentrated soup mix, so I think what I'm going to do is finish it in the dehydrator, then maybe blitz it a little bit more, and I'm going to use it like a cup of soup, because that's what it tastes like, and I think that'll be nice to have in the pantry. But once I have one, I'll put it as a short. I hope you've enjoyed this video, everybody. If there's anything you would like to see, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.